Hi, welcome to our virtual world of stories and crafts at the Huntington Public Library. Today our travels will take us to Australia. We will be making a dot painting, assemble a cute kangaroo, and decorate a boomerang. Last week we visited the Philippines, and now we will travel to Australia, the land down under. This will be our last stop before we return home to New York. Let's listen to two stories about Australia that feature all the animals that you will find there. The Singing Snake by Stefan Czernicki and Timothy Rhodes. Long ago, on a great island in the middle of the ocean, there lived a collection of creatures found nowhere else in the world. They all chatted at once, and their voices were harsh and loud. The island was the noisiest place you could imagine. Tired of the raucous sounds, Old Man said he would make a musical instrument in honor of the creature who developed the most beautiful singing voice. All day and all night, the animals and birds sang and sang, each trying to sing louder than the others in order to be noticed by the old man. The voices were more musical, but the sound of so many different animals singing at the same time made such a din that no one could sleep. Enough, said Old Man one day. We will all gather together, have a proper contest, and settle this once and for all. I need some sleep. A large, colorful snake listened to Old Man and thought about his chances. He wanted to win the contest, but he knew that he had only an average singing voice. He would never be judged the best. He listened carefully to the other contestants. Lark has the most beautiful voice, Snake finally decided. Day after day, Snake hid in the grass beneath the trees and listened to Lark sing. At night he went off by himself to practice. But no matter how hard he tried to imitate Lark's voice, the only result was a sore throat. After a while, Snake knew he would never win the contest. He became very jealous of Lark's voice. One day, Lark flew down from a tree near Snake and began to hop about on the ground, pecking at insects. Snake noticed how very small Lark was. He was getting an idea. If I swallowed Lark whole and was careful not to harm her and held her just at the back of my throat, then I'm sure I could borrow her voice for the song festival. Once Snake had made up his mind, he quickly swallowed Lark. She began to sing in protest, but her song appeared to be coming from Snake. This will work perfectly, thought Snake. He hastened off to the festival. Whenever he encountered another animal along the way, Snake would smile, taking care that his teeth blocked Lark's escape. When Snake smiled, the light shone through his teeth, and Lark began to sing. Everyone thought that Snake was singing, and they marveled at his magnificent voice. Your voice is certainly much improved from last year, said Platypus. Snake has obviously been taking singing lessons, remarked Lyrebird, somewhat peevishly. I wish I had a voice as enchanting as Snake's, whined Dingo. Snake smiled serenely and continued on his way. As he approached the festival, he met more and more creatures. They all expressed amazement at his brilliant voice. Even the other birds were filled with wonder when Snake sang. It's almost as if Snake were a bird, said Emu admiringly. Such a sorrowful and anguished song, added Cockatoo. It makes me want to cry. The song festival was ready to begin. When all the participants were assigned places on the program for the contest, Snake didn't wait his turn. He squeezed his way between blue-tongued lizard and long-necked tortoise to the front of the line. Then he reared himself up, had his head high in the air, and smiled. The sunlight struck Lark, and she began to sing. Her song was so sad and so beautiful that every animal was soon in tears. Even Crocodile's tears were real. The other contestants agreed that Snake's song was so fine and his voice so perfect that he should win the contest. Red spiny lizard, echidna, honey ant, frilled lizard, kookaburra, pelican, frog, wallaby, lorikeet, kangaroo, and the others did not even bother to compete. Old Man agreed and named Snake the winner of the contest. "I will go now," he said, "and make my musical instrument in Snake's shape." After Old Man had gone, the animals gathered around Snake. "Please, Snake, sing us an encore," they begged. Snake smiled again, but this time, instead of singing, Lark began to scratch at Snake's throat with her little feet. Scratch, 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 scratch. Snake's cheeks bulged out as he tried not to cough. His eyes bulged too. A faint sound like a hiss came from his mouth. Lark continued to scratch with her little feet. Scratch, 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 scratch. Finally, Snake could stand it no longer. With a loud hack, he coughed, and his mouth opened wide. Lark quickly flew to the safety of a tree branch and began to sing a glorious song of freedom. All the creatures were so delighted with Lark's song that they were distracted for a moment. Snake quickly hid in another tree, pretending he was a branch. When Lark's song was finished, the creatures noticed that Snake had disappeared. They were very angry. "He cheated us," they said. "He was horrible to Lark." "We should never speak to him again," said Koala. "Nor trust him," added Flying Squirrel. When all the animals had gone, Snake came down from the tree. Just as he reached the ground, Old Man returned with his instrument. "It looks like you, Snake," Old Man said, showing Snake the great horn that he had made. "The sound isn't as sweet as your singing, but I like it, and it will go well with your voice." Old Man blew into the strange instrument. A low, rich humming filled the air. Snake said nothing and slithered off into the tall grass in shame. No one ever did speak to Snake again. After a while, he forgot how to speak himself. All he could make was a hissing sound, as if something was going scratch, 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 scratch in his throat. Today, people call the island where these creatures lived Australia. They call the instrument the Old Man made a didgeridoo, and they refer to someone who cannot be trusted as a snake in the grass. Wampat Goes Walkabout by Michael Morpurgo, illustrated by Christian Birmingham. One day, Wampat woke up and thought, "I think I'll dig a hole today." Wampat loved digging holes, so off he went and dug a deep, deep hole. He crawled inside and sat there in the cool and the dark and began to think, because Wampat loved thinking too. He thought to himself, "Why is the sky blue? Why am I Wampat and not a kangaroo?" Sometime later, Wampat climbed out of his hole. He looked around for his mother, but she wasn't there. He was all alone. "Who are you?" cried Kookaburra from high in the sky. "I'm Wampat," said Wampat. "And what can you do, Wampat?" "Not much. I dig a lot and I think a lot." "That's nothing," cackled Kookaburra. "I can fly. Look at me." And he looped the loop and flew away. Wampat went down to the creek to look for his mother, but she wasn't there either. Just then a wallaby came hopping by. "Who are you?" he asked, looking down his nose at Wampat. "I'm Wampat," said Wampat. "And what can you do, Wampat?" "Not much. I dig a lot and I think a lot." "That's nothing," laughed Wallaby. "I can hop, I can skip, I can jump. Look at me." And he hopped and skipped and jumped away. Wampat walked, and everywhere he walked, he looked for his mother, but he couldn't see her anywhere. He sat down under a stringy bark gum tree to catch his breath. Just then Possum popped up beside him. "Who are you?" she asked, her eyes darting this and way and that. "I'm Wampat," said Wampat. "And what can you do?" "Not much. I dig a lot and I think a lot." "That's nothing," laughed Possum. "I can hang upside down. I can swing by my tail. Look at me." And she swung away up the stringy bark gum tree. Wampat wandered sadly through the bush, still looking for his mother. Just then Emu came scampering by. "Who are you?" he snapped. "I'm Wampat," said Wampat. "And what can you do?" "Not much. I dig a lot and I think a lot." "That's nothing," laughed Emu. "I can scamper, I can scoot around in crazy circles. Look at me." And away he scampered, scooting around in crazy circles. Just then a boy came by, hunting after Emu. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm Wombat," said Wombat. "And what can you do?" "Not much. I dig a lot and I think a lot." "That's nothing," laughed Boy. "I can do just about everything. I can jump, I can run, I can swing, I can even hunt. Look at me." And off he went, hunting after Emu. It was baking hot now, and Wombat shuffled into the shade of a great eucalyptus tree. He hoped his mother might be there, but she wasn't. "Who are you?" called Koala from way up in the tree above him. "I'm Wombat," said Wombat. "And what can you do?" "Not much. I dig a lot and I think a lot." "That's nothing," laughed Koala. "I can doze, I can snooze, I can snore. Look at me." And very soon she was dozing and snoozing and snoring away, high up in her eucalyptus tree. By now, Wombat was very, very tired, so he lay down in the shade and sang himself to sleep. When Wombat woke up, he looked around for his mother, but she still wasn't there. "I know," he thought. "I'll climb the highest hill I can find. Surely I'll be able to see her then." So that's what he did. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed. When he reached the top, he looked about him. Everywhere he looked, there were lots of cackling kookaburras, hopping wallabies, swinging possums, hunting boys, scampering emus, and dozing koalas. But no matter how hard he looked, he just couldn't see his mother anywhere. But he did see something else. He saw smoke. He saw fire. It was leaping from tree to tree. It was coming straight toward him. Wombat thought hard, very hard, and then suddenly he knew what to do. He ran down the hill as fast as he could and began to dig. He dug and he dug and he dug. Then Kookaburra came by, and Wallaby and Possum and Emu and Boy and Koala. "Fire!" they all cried. "Run, run, you silly Wombat! Fire, fire!" But Wombat just went on digging. "What are you doing?" they asked. "I'm digging," replied Wombat, "and I'm thinking too." "What are you thinking?" they cried. "I'm thinking that fire burns faster than you can run or fly or hop or swing, and I'm thinking there's plenty of room down in my hole if you want to join me. We'll be very safe." They just took one look at the cackling fire and the billowing smoke. One look was all they needed. Down into Wombat's hole they jumped, until they were all sitting there safe and snug. And to keep them all happy, Wombat sang them the digging song that his mother had taught him. When at last it was all over, the fire and the song, they climbed out into the evening air. "I wish," sighed Wombat, looking around him sadly, "I wish I could find my mother. I've lost her, and she lost me." "Well, why didn't you ask?" they all said. "We'll find her for you." And away they went, flying and swinging, hopping and scampering, running around in all directions. With so many of them looking, it wasn't long before they found Wombat's mother and brought her back to him. Wombat and his mother hugged and hugged and hugged. "I've been looking everywhere for you," she cried. "I was worried sick. What have you been up to?" "Not much, Mom," said Wombat. "I've just been thinking a lot and digging a lot. That's all." For our first craft, we will make a dot painting. In your kit, we will find a black piece of paper, paints, and Q-tips. Dot painting is an Aboriginal art, and the Aborigines of Australia would create patterns and symbols in the earth. First, we will draw the design of an animal with pencil on the paper. I'm drawing a snake inspired from our story, The Singing Snake. Next, I will open the paints very carefully to make sure that nothing spills. I'm dipping one of the Q-tips into the white paint. I'll paint dots along the outline of the snake. Now I'm using the other colors to make more dots to fill in the shape of the snake. You can create different patterns if you like. Our dot painting is finished. Our next craft is a mother kangaroo with a baby in her pouch. You'll find a template of the mother kangaroo, the baby, a big googly eye and 2 small ones, and the pouch out of craft foam in your kit. First we will cut out both kangaroos. Now we will glue on the pouch. Make sure only to add glue to the bottom and the sides, so that the baby can slide in on the top. Add eyes to both kangaroos. Slip the baby in the pouch, and our kangaroo craft is done. Our last craft is to decorate a boomerang, a typical Australian tool originally used for hunting. We will use stickers in your kit to embellish the boomerang. You can create a pattern, or you can just attach the stickers randomly. If you like, you can use markers to draw shapes on the stickers. Our boomerang is finished. I hope you will have fun playing with it. Thank you for joining me for this week's Stories and Crafts.